back to Toby's Talk Show, and today we are wrapping up the NFL playoffs. I wasn't able to give you guys my, my thoughts on the conference finals for both teams. I am sorry for that. I just couldn't get the video out, but it wasn't the greatest conference finals. Patrick Mahomes did his thing and came back like he usually does, and the 49ers pretty much dominated with the run game. Which they're known for. So it wasn't that much to talk about. Pretty much, Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL, and he proved that. And if the 49ers stick with their run plan, they could look good for the Super Bowl. Obviously, today I'm talking about the Super Bowl, so we know what happened. Um, but I just want to say that I went to the Super Bowl, and it was awesome. It was one of the best experiences of my life. Um, it's crazy because you always see it on TV, and it's a crazy experience going live. The energy is crazy. Seeing the fireworks and the planes after the national anthem. It's just all insane. And I had a great time. But let's get to the stuff that you guys want to see, which is my thoughts. So the question really is obviously that the Chiefs won 31-20. Really it was 24-20. Damian Williams had a late touchdown. So it was a lot closer than the score really says. But people are really discussing, did the Chiefs, win the game, or did the 49ers really blew it? And in my opinion, the 49ers blew the game. I wouldn't even say the 49ers. I would say Kyle Shanahan. So let's start off with that. And, we all know Kyle Shanahan for being the offensive coordinator when the Falcons blew the 28-3 lead in against the Patriots in the Super Bowl a few years back. When you look at that game, you think, okay, what happened? So what happened was Kyle Shanahan stopped running the ball. And, when you run the ball, unless you fumble the ball, there is no way the time stops. So it keeps going. And if you're up by 20, 10, whatever, if you have a lead, and the run game is particularly working, you should keep going with that because A, you'll gain yards for the first down most likely, and B, you'll just waste time. However, against the Patriots, they stopped. They started to throw the ball. They started getting sacks. They started making dumb plays, fumbles, and it stopped the clock, gave the Patriots the ball. And, don't doubt Tom Brady, and he, went and won the game for the Patriots. In this game, Kyle Shanahan, for some reason, did the same exact thing. The 49ers were up 10 with the ball, with around 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. So they had a very good chance to win the game. And the whole season the 49ers have been based, their team is known for the run. They have Coleman, Mostert, they have a great running back core, and with a great offensive line, if you keep running that ball, time will chew and you'll keep getting those first downs. But the Chiefs didn't do that. On first down, they ran the ball, I think, to Mostert for 7 yards. And then they threw the ball on second down, got an incomplete pass, stops the clock. Third down, again, they threw the ball, and they incomplete pass, gave the Chiefs the ball, and you never want to give Patrick Mahomes the ball. And again, it stopped the clock. And especially, if you had a quarterback like Tom Brady, I was about to say Peyton Manning, but obviously he's retired. Russell Wilson, people like that you could trust. Okay, fine. Maybe throwing the ball is not the worst option. But Jimmy Garoppolo, even though he had a pretty good game, I would trust the running backs a lot more than Jimmy Garoppolo throwing the ball. Like I said, Jimmy Garoppolo is a game manager and he knows how to control a game. But, the Super Bowl is a whole different type of thing. And, the pressure's there and the fans are cheering. And, it's a lot to handle as a quarterback. And Jimmy Garoppolo, A, couldn't handle it. And B, he wasn't put in the right circumstance to handle it. Because part of being a game manager is winning the game and doing what's best for the team. And throwing the ball with Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't the best for the team at the time. And obviously Jimmy Garoppolo can't control what he's doing offensively, the play call. But, Jimmy Garoppolo should be making those throws at the end. And B, Kyle Shanahan shouldn't be calling them, calling pass plays. Jimmy Garoppolo, he's not a bad quarterback. I'd say he's an average quarterback. But in situations like this, when you could see the Super Bowl in your hands, you have to make the right play, and Kyle Shanahan didn't. So now let's talk about the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, he started off. It was strange. I don't think Patrick Mahomes has ever had a bad game in his career. Um, but in the first half, it looked like he was having the worst game in his career. Um, Patrick Mahomes threw a very bad pick that was, easily lurkable, and that's what I believe Fred Warner, who picked it off, did. It was right to him. It was looked like that he was the receiver, and he picked it off. And then, there was another pick by Patrick Mahomes, and you think like, is Patrick Mahomes like, is he there? Like, is the pressure getting to him? What's happening? But then, like he's done all of these playoffs, Patrick Mahomes started to come back. Um, and he, led the offense, made the right passes, started, using his arm, started using the run as a, type of using he used the run to trick the offense or trick the 49ers defense, which obviously has been good all year. And he mixed it up so that they didn't know what they were going to do because Damian Williams, he's a pretty good running back. He could run, and he showed it obviously during the game. And then, obviously Patrick Mahomes and the weapons he has, it's very dangerous. And so, Andy Reid outcoached, I believe, Kyle Shanahan, in my opinion, and Patrick Mahomes started to get hot. And at the end of the game, he looked like the best quarterback in the league, which he is. Um, so I feel like if we look at it, the Chiefs just outcoached the 49ers and also got out quarterbacked. Obviously the 49ers have a great defense, but with Patrick Mahomes, what they did, and Andy Reid, is very smart for doing this. At the end of the game, he started hurrying it up, and every single play they ran to the line, and the defense got tired. And you can't call a timeout because you need to save those timeouts if you're Kyle Shanahan, especially knowing that Patrick Mahomes scores. At the time, it would be 24-20, and then you need the timeouts to save the clock to maybe go for the win. So you have a tired defense and you have a stud in Patrick Mahomes, so it's a lose-lose situation. You don't know what to do. You either call a timeout, waste one, and so you get the defense settled, or you let Patrick Mahomes go wild on your defense. Um, so I feel like, the 49ers and Chiefs, they'll both be back in the playoffs next year. They're not going to lose major parts of their team. I'm not worried. But, Kyle Shanahan, this is the second time, and it's kind of worrisome because usually after the first time, you recognize your mistakes and you fix them. But obviously, Kyle Shanahan, um, you know, on Sunday night, I guess I don't know what was going through his head, obviously, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know what went through his head, but obviously, he didn't learn from the past, and it hurt him at the end. What I noticed from the 49ers is that when they did a lot of motion, and it tricked up the defense. But it seemed at the end of the game, when you have a running game like that, you could do motions. 'Cause, the defense is gonna focus on, okay, if Debo Samuel is is going behind the quarterback, maybe he's running. Oh no, maybe Mo starts taking the line, taking the handoff, and the defense gets confused. But at the end of the game, it looked like Kyle Shanahan went away from everything that's worked the whole season. And during the first half of this game, and went with the pass. I have to give credit though to Nick Bosa. I think he had 10 quarterback pressures, and even though I think he got to Mahomes either once or twice, but putting the pressure, the 49ers D line, they did the front seven did their thing, but obviously, Richard Sherman really didn't. Richard Sherman got burnt multiple times, and you could look at Darrell Revis's comments and say, maybe he is his own guy. And, you can't take credit from Richard Sherman for being his own guy. If you're a very good cornerback that plays that's better at zone, you can't take that away from him. But it's scary when you see Richard Sherman getting burned by Sammy Watkins and Devonta Adams. So for 2 games in a row, Richard Sherman is getting burned by these receivers, and these are two of the fastest and most agile receivers in the league. But still, if you're getting paid the money you're getting paid, and you're talking the talk, and everyone's looking at you as the leader of the team, you got to step up your play. Also, you can't just talk; you got to walk the walk. So that's really my thoughts. I want to give also credit to Rashad Breeland. He played amazing. Chris Jones was really clutch at the end. Obviously Mahomes. Sammy Watkins had a really nice game. Debo Samuel had a really nice game. So obviously, these teams both have, some of the best futures in the league. So we're gonna see these teams come back and fight over and over again. This isn't the last of the 49ers. It's not like, with the Broncos with Peyton Manning retiring and the defense getting old. Both the teams are very young. Obviously, Mahomes will get his money this year. Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelsey, both their teams are young. Nick Bosa, um, George Kittle. They both have very young teams. Um, so don't expect one of these teams to go away. But obviously, the Chiefs, took this game, by out coaching and out quarterbacking the 49ers. Um, so that's really my thoughts on the game. I also noticed that the refs, there weren't a lot of penalties, which was good. You want them to let them play on. Oh, also, I just thought of it. At the end of the half, the first half, George Kittle got called for offensive PI, and you could look at Kyle Rudolph's game winner against the Saints, and they are identical plays. One of them was called for a PI, the other wasn't. So there's an obvious problem here, officiating. I think everyone's still getting used to this PI because it's so every single play you can look at it and go, oh, he touched him a little bit, but was it enough? And so there's a lot of leeway and there's a lot of controversy every single call there is. But I feel like the NFL has to get together and figure it out because if you're gonna call Kyle Rudolph on no offensive pass interference, but then call Kittle, it's not fair. And I feel like there has to be certain you know points to where the PI gets called to a PI. So if you see, the cornerback hook his arm or touch him, before the ball is thrown or something, you got to make certain, rules, that stick and that, when you look at a replay, for example, okay, did the cornerback do this and that? Because it's so nonchalant and so, general and no one really understands it. And, every single time there's like, the DeAndre Hopkins one, everyone's like, oh, that when they review it with Marlon Humphrey, when they review it, they're gonna reverse it, and then they come back and they say the call stands no PI, and everyone's all confused. And you think, okay, this new rule is gonna help these PI calls, but if anything, it just makes it more confusing, and people don't understand it. And I feel like the refs don't even understand what's going on because it's just there's so much controversy to it, and it's so general. So I feel like that has to be something. And also, it's scary, that Patrick Mahomes is only 24, I believe, or 25, I believe 24 years old, and he's already won his first Super Bowl. And the Chiefs, they're not going to lose many pieces this year. Chris Jones wants to stay. Patrick Mahomes will get his bag, and that obviously will hurt like the cap space, but they'll be fine. And obviously, Patrick Mahomes deserves it. It's been 50 years since they made the Super Bowl, and it's their second Super Bowl ever for the Chiefs. So Patrick Mahomes is going to be a great quarterback for a long time. He literally like could be in the conversation. Stats wise, since he only played 2 real seasons, he's not there. But the accolades wise, it's crazy. He's already been an All Pro member, two Pro Bowls, MVP, Finals MVP or Super Bowl MVP, and I'm missing something, but it's okay. It's just crazy um, what this guy is doing. Um, he's insane. Gotta give props to him. The first half he was under a lot of pressure, but he got back into it. And yeah, you gotta give credit to where credit is due. How I look at it is, you knew the Chiefs were gonna score, but the real question is, would the 49ers, use their run game to score? And sometimes the 49ers D would get the stops, and then if the 49ers converted on their side of the ball, then they would win the game. And Kyle Shanahan, known for being an offensive coordinator, which is why he got hired for his offensive mindset, his brilliance on the offensive side. It didn't work out for him in the Super Bowl. And it's going to be something you look at going forward when they're in the playoffs next year, maybe the Super Bowl next year. Obviously, it's very early to tell. There's injuries, free agency, but yeah. So that was really my thoughts. I hope you guys enjoyed. I just wanted to talk a lot about the Super Bowl, just let it all out. Leave your thoughts below on the future of both these teams, your thoughts on the Super Bowl. And yeah, let me know anything you guys, new videos, because now that the NFL is over, or not the NFL season's over, I'll probably post a lot more NBA, with the trade deadline coming up. But, I want to post videos for you guys. I've seen people do some quizzes about, NFL and NBA. So if you guys like that, let me know. I'm open to doing anything. I'll try anything you guys want me to. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You guys will probably be seeing this Wednesday or Thursday. I hope you guys enjoy, and I will see you guys in the next talk show. Bye, guys.